big riff, because that's kind of similar to Gary Glitter's song. You had that sort of big riff sound. Bam, bam, bam. I mean, it's so catchy. I mean, it's in my head. It just won't get out, and that's okay. Sometimes those things stay in your head. From songs that are actually pretty bad. They're just kind of catchy, the pop thing, and just can't get this damn thing out. And you're smashing your head against the table and the chairs, and it just won't get out. But no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to hurt myself. Not for this song. I want this to stay in there.
It's showtime, folks.
Everyone, and welcome to another episode of Into the Music. My name is Greg. I'm going to react to another song by The Fall. Another song, Greg, by The Fall? Which ones have you done already? Well, I think we've done at least two, maybe three, but I think two. Yeah, 1, 2. One was, I think the first one was Totally Wired. I'm totally wild. And that was one that Chris, when he was on the channel, I had him react to. He wasn't really taken by the band. He didn't really like Mark's voice. So yeah, he was pretty picky about the voices and stuff like that, And so they had to be a certain way, and Mark's way was not Chris's way. And then Theme from Sparta, I think that's the name of the song. I did that one after I went solo. Yeah, right here. And I liked it. I like both songs. I mean, the fact that I gave Chris that other one. There's something about Mark. To me, he was cut from a kind of different cloth, and I would say potentially genius, because I've heard that. I mean, I've read that a little bit, but I need to get more into this band, into their songs. But what I've heard so far, yeah, man, I am really excited. And so this one is Big New Prinz. It's one that I couldn't stop myself. I've listened to already like 3 or 4 times. So, but I still think it's kind of still brand new to me. So I'm going to pretend as though like I'm kind of listening to the first time. And yeah, and if you kind of clicking on this channel, on this reaction right now, and you don't know too much about The Fall or don't know the song, so here you go. This is your new ride, so take it with me. Big New Prinz by The Fall.
Track record, hey, is
So right off the bat, because I remember when I first heard the song, I was like, man, this sounds like Gary Glitter's Rock and Roll Part Two. And so I actually typed it in. I typed that song name in along with Marky Smith's or The Fall, whatever, and a few things popped up. Like, yeah, you're basically right. It does sound like Gary Glitter's Rock and Roll Part Two, and then supposedly he's got some other songs that had that Gary Glitter kind of sound. So that's really interesting. And I just say it just as an observation. I'm not like, oh my God, forget it. I'm out of here, slam and walk out. No, I mean, it's, there's influences, bands and artists influence all the time. And then they come up with their own great music. And I think this is a great song. Um, there's something really cool about the lyrics too. What lyrics? I mean, a couple catch lines, but I think, yeah, from what I understand, the song might be about John Peel. Yeah. And so John Peel, who is that famous record DJ, I think he's probably a little bit more than that. He had his own show. He championed a lot of bands through the years. And when he really kind of like hooked into you as one of his favorites, then you were going places. And my understanding is that John really, really liked The Fall. So even though The Fall, I think they're a major underrated band. Mark is a really huge, big time underrated performer and artist. I think this guy is amazing. And I think maybe it's because his attitude, the fact that 60 band members kind of went in one door and then out the other. They didn't stay around too long. He had a wife, Brick Smith, who I believe was she was lead guitar and songwriter during this period when this song was written. And yeah, so I think they married in 1983 and then they divorced 6 years later. So, but yeah, and some what I understand too is a lot of great stuff was created during that time. So I'm excited to kind of get into more stuff where Bricks was playing guitar in the band. Yeah, so my understanding too is that this is a sort of remake of a song called Big New Priest, and that was off the I Am Curious Orange album that was 1988. And in this rework of that song, it's basically almost the same thing. I actually checked it out. This one has a little bit more, I don't know, produced a little bit better, just has a little bit more oomph. And I love that video too, with those performers, who are just doing this kind of impression sort of things, dance kind of sort of, thing to this song. Yeah, what do they call that? But definitely expression dance. I don't know, but that's really interesting too. As the band's in the background playing this song. I don't believe that the music that we hear in that video is actually coming from that performance that they're playing in the background. I don't think so. I think they're just kind of, they probably recorded that song again and then just kind of going through the motions in the video. But it's really interesting and cool just to see all that. And again, the sound is just so good. But yeah, but again, that's sort of that big riff, because that's kind of similar to Gary Glitter's song. You had that sort of big riff sound. Bam, bam, bam. It's so catchy. It's in my head. It just won't get out, and that's okay. Sometimes those things stay in your head. From songs that are actually pretty bad. They're just kind of catchy, the pop thing, and just can't get this damn thing out. And you're smashing your head against the table and the chairs, and it just won't get out. But no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to hurt myself. Not for this song. I want this to stay in there. So yeah, so I'm crossing off all the information that I've done so far. So far, big guitar riffs. My understanding is that this remake of that Big New Priest song. So this is on an album called 458 489 A-sides. That's the name of the album. It was released in 1990, and it's rare. It's actually never released on vinyl in the US. and it's not easy to find elsewhere. So I actually now challenge John Taskmaster out there, the guy who like finds vinyls under rocks. Go and try to find this album. Let me know if you succeed. Yeah, so I'm going to cross off that information. And Marky Smith. Huh? So this information that I've done a couple times already for those other songs. So this band formed at the height of the punk rock movement in Manchester in 1976. And this band, and again, I mean, it's really Mark. You know, he's just had musicians kind of showing up almost every album, every year. He was really hard, difficult to get along with. He really kind of had his way of the highway. And yeah, more times than not, you know, guys, after a while, guys and gals, you know, they all just kind of stayed around, you know, not that long, but long enough to produce some pretty cool stuff. There's so much out there. 31 studio albums. That's amazing. 32 live albums. Over 60 band members, like I said. So fascinating guy. He really is. I mean, there's some documentaries out there too. There's a couple. There was one that I just watched recently. And so there's another one out there too. So I want to check that one out to see if it's better. But just again, really fascinating guy. Died too young, 60. I don't know. I think he may have had kind of too much, you know, excess of the drinking. So I'm not sure if that sort of contributed to it. So I'm going to pull up the lyrics here because I think they're pretty cool. He starts off with rockin' records, rockin' records, rock the record, rockin' records. The guys rock records. And then he sings like Big Priest, rockin' records, rock the records, rock records. Drink the long draught, drink the long draught for a Big Priest. And he just drink just a lot of the same stuff. Drink the long draught down, drink the long draught, Big Priest. He is not. And then in the background, you hear like everyone kind of going, like almost shouting out, like, appreciate it. That's brilliant, man. That's brilliant. It is. It's brilliant. I mean, even though the song sounds, you know, somewhat like Rock and Roll Part 2, but I mean, you know, he just had this vision and just these catch lines that he would just throw at these songs and just repeat them over and over, and yet they would not be, they don't get boring. It's not. I mean, I could probably, this is a song that now I'm going to go back to over and over and over. It is. I'm telling you right now. I mean, I've been like sitting on my hands after the few listens before this reaction. I mean, I've been dying to get back to this, you know, but now it's like, I'm just going to go back. I mean, that's kind of how I am. You know, when I love something, I just, you know, rinse the crap out of it, you know, and then, you know, then I might walk away for a while and then I go back and it's kind of filled up again. And then just go back over and over and over. I just keep going to it, you know, going to the well, just keep going back to the well. You know, he doesn't have to sing anything profound. You know, I could hear these catch lines all the time. I don't care. The music is so cool. The vibe is so vibey, it's so hip. It really is. Rock the record, check the guy's track record. And the way he delivers it, you know, this attitude, this, you know, just balls out, you know, attitude with that mic in his, there's something about it, really. It's so appealing. And then this, he is not appreciated. Drink the long draught down. And at first I thought maybe he was sort of talking about himself because, you know, he was never fully appreciated. And his music and the band and the whole thing. But yeah, so, but then kind of as I was looking into it, someone's talking about John Peel. And that kind of makes sense because he's saying, check the guy's track record, check the guy's track record. And my understanding is that Mark really was never really big about sort of promoting himself or anything like that. You know, he just had this desire, this call really to kind of just get in front of a mic and just sing and create this like amazing music. but he really was not into promotion. I mean, in that one documentary that I saw, I mean, he would have problems with the band members. Band members really wanted to kind of take this kind of sort of get out and like have some publicity and notoriety and all like that. And Mark, for some reason, he wanted to stay, under the radar. It's really fascinating, you know. Um, so I mean, whether or not he's singing about himself or John Peel, but whatever it is, it's catchy as hell. And I love it. This is actually added a few songs I've listened to already. There's other songs too that I've listened to, and I'm going to react to those on this channel. But this one is right. I think this is my favorite. So what do you think? What do you think out there? What do you think about this band? I mean, this is another one. This is kind of like Cardiacs, where I discovered, it's like, this is a band, this is a guy, this is a talent that I just want to shout from the rooftops. Folks, check this guy out. This is amazing stuff. So I really hope that, get some really good views for this. And yeah, and folks out there who really love Mark in this band, what's that next song? Give me some songs. Let's see if it matches up with some of the stuff that I already have queued up and ready to go. That'd be pretty fun. In the meantime, I hope to see every one of you on the next episode of Into the Music.